If anybody has used the Oshun Pouch, you'll know it's a great piece of mechanics. Now, this is what it looks like. It comes like this. It's a compostable bag filled with a dry substance. You poke it with a skewer, put it in water for a while to soak up the water, and this is what you end up with. So this is the Oshun Pouch with the lines in it where I've made the holes, and this is what you use. Now, although it's a lovely product, it is also very, very expensive. The fact that it comes in like pouches is great, but it's also sold as an on-the-day product, so you wouldn't expect flowers to last in it for very long. It's fine for funeral work, and I presume you will use it for weddings and things like that. But I wanted to see if I could make something similar myself that wouldn't be so expensive, because it is very expensive. Now, the key to this is this machine here, which is a thermal bag sealer. Now, you use this if you're cooking food, you cook food and you seal a bag. Now, obviously, I've got these bags, these black ones. They're cornstarch. I thought they mimicked the Oshun Pouch quite well. Now, at the front of this machine here is a dial, and you have to absolutely make sure that it's on the right setting, because if it's too hot, it basically just cuts the bag. You want it to seal the bag, okay? So this is the key to hopefully making something similar. Now, I opened out an Oshun Pouch, and this is what is inside. This is the stuff that's filled with, which I think is a cocoa coir, with something else, plant-based. I don't know what that is. And I thought it looked very much similar to cocoa fibre blocks that I used to buy to start my seedlings off in. When you open it out, this is how much it feels. It feels one of these paint pots up to the top. So I thought what I'd do was try several different mediums to see if any of them I could use to replicate the Oshun Pouch that didn't cost as much money. So I thought what I would do is try these different things. I'm going to try one that is just cocoa coir block, and then I'm going to use, I've got one that's uses the wool that the dog food is wrapped in to keep it cool. I've got shredded paper, and I've also got sand here. Now these are fairly easy to use. The wool isn't so easy to use because it comes in a big sheet like this, so you wouldn't be able to actually use this as it is. So you would actually have to first pull off little bits so you break it down. Otherwise you'd never get any stems in it. So those are the four things that I've used. So I'm going to do the same thing with all of them, and obviously keep the Oshun Pouch as well, so I can do it a control to see how that works. Now what I've done is I've mixed them. Actually, that's not mixed, that's just the cocoa fibre. So I've got four cans now, like this. Now, this one is sand mixed with cocoa coir, and it's very heavy. Once the bags are filled, I am going to weigh them to compare them and see weight, but I think although it mixes up nicely, I think the stems will be quite solid in it, I think the weight of it might be too prohibitive to actually use as an option. I've also mixed the wool with the same. What I did was, with the wool and the paper, petroleum paper, I actually filled both of them to the top with the wool and the paper, and then I put boiling water over both of them, and then they actually shrunk all the way down to half full and soaked up lots of water, and then I topped them up with the cocoa coir, and then I mixed them all together. I don't think it would work just using sand on its own, or paper on its own, or the wool on its own, which is why I've mixed it up. But I might be proved wrong, so we'll see. So the things are mixed. The next thing to do is to fill the bag. Now I'll be using these trays, so everything's the same, and you can see these bags are a good fit for the trays, and similar to the Oshun Pouch. Let's see. Got labels because I'm so bad at forgetting what goes in what. So as I do them, I'm going to put a label in. This is the sand mix. See how that feels there. Don't think I need. Oh, let's fill up in the face. I don't think I need all of that. So, the next thing to do is to seal the bag. Now, as you can see, it has sealed. Actually, it's coming apart a little bit. I think it needs to be on something. Right, so the first time was a fail because I think the bag pulls too much. So I'm trying again now, resting it on here. No, that's still not going to work. Right, I'll try this one again. Trying to clear the way. Stick on here. And try again. Nope. Although, I don't know. Double bag it perhaps? I mean, it's still... Let's see how it works. Leave it like that. for the moment because it fits the tray. It does fit the tray. I suppose it depends if it's going to split or not. I think it's just too heavy. So that's the cocoa and the sand. I'm going to put that out of the way. Right. The next one to try is the paper. It's the one mixed with the paper. Let's do a couple of seals. So one, no, that cut again. Don't think the temperature's, oh, I don't know though because it's sealed. Maybe I'm just expecting more from it. That goes in there. That's the paper. Now this is nice, actually. I like this, the one with the wool. Because it's heavy, nice texture, lots of water held by the wool. Let's see if that's big enough. Yeah, I think once it's flattened out, that might be okay. Obviously, this is really taut, and this isn't. But let's see when the stems go in it, if it makes a difference, if the thing splits, does it need to be double bagged? Now already I feel that that might be an issue, getting the stems in, because it didn't go in that easily. And the final one is actually just the cocoa fibre on its own, because if that's actually okay, what I'm worrying about, I can't tell which is which. That's the cocoa fibre on its own. They're so similar. I turned it down slightly. There we go. And there we have just the cocoa fibre, which is actually quite neat, isn't it? Goes in very nicely. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear down, and then I am going to get the flowers, make sure they've all got the same flowers in them, and see how everything stands up. Right, I wanted to cover a couple of things that I'm thinking about. First of all, you might be thinking, why didn't you just tie the bag up rather than trying to seal it with the thermal thingy? Well, if you did that, you'd end up with a bag that was very triangular shaped, and what I'm trying to do is try and replicate the whole rectangle shape that you get if you use any floral brick type thing. That's why. And also I've weighed everything. So the Oshun Pouch in the tray is 1,523 grams. The paper version is 1,506 grams. Now, as expected, the sand is the heaviest and it's 1,883 grams. The wool is the lightest, this is 1,005 grams. And just the cocoa coir on its own is 1,131. So just the plain cocoa coir and the wool are more or less 1 kilo, slightly over. The Oshun Pouch and the paper version are 1.5 kilos, but the sand is closer to 2 kilos. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. Now, I have got 5 pots of identical flowers to see how I get on adding the flowers and the foliage to the bases. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. So the first one I'm going to fill is the Oshun Pouch. Now I know how this feels because I've used it umpteen times before, but I think it's worth showing it on camera so you can see exactly how it is. So this is going to be some beautiful floral design. It's going to be a comparison of how everything fits together. Now, quite often with the Oshun Pouch, you don't actually need to make holes in it. It's quite, you can see all the stems going really nicely. I'm trying to keep them quite long. I probably wouldn't do this long if I was doing funeral flowers, but I think it also helps to show the stability and how well the medium holds the stems. Now, I would expect something like a Sweet William to go in really easily, which it does. A bit more camellia there. Yeah, this still goes in nicely, holds up nicely. Now, the other things I don't think I would expect to go in. Let's have a look. Oh, Ostromere is going in okay. No, the enemy is not going to go in. So, making a hole, putting that in. And I doubt very much that these would go in on their own. I'm not even going to try. I just do it from behind and obviously can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. Now I do know you can actually make fairly decent holes in the Oshun Pouch. Now, as you can see, takes no time at all to fit the stems in. Some of them go straight in, some of them need holes making, and the tray is dry underneath the Oshun Pouch. If I was doing it for a funeral, I would have tied the Oshun Pouch with string to the base. Next up, we have the cocoa coir and paper. That's dry, base is dry. Let's get the foliage in first. Yep, nicely goes in. there's, oh, I think I need a bigger stem there. I'll take this out, put it in at the back, at the end. I'm deliberately clearing more of the stem so that there's a longer stem to go in, but do you know what? It feels really nice to work with. Goes in nicely, bit wobbly. See, but then again it's an odd shape. That go in? Yep, Alstroemia goes in on its own. Sweet William goes on its own. Anemones I'm not even going to try. It's a long stem of ranunculus. Now that's must have come up about with a lump of paper or something, because it definitely needs a better hole making in it. There we go. There's the cocoa coir and paper. Next one up is the sand. Now the sand has leaked quite badly. Can you see? There's water in the base of that tray. Although having said that, when I use Agrawall, there's quite often water in the base of the tray. I just use it to get out. Okay, take that out for now. Now, I quite like that. Now, as expected, these firm stems do go in nicely. And I've left them long, so they do hold up. Yeah, there's no difference between which stems go in neatly and which don't. They're the same for all of the mechanics here. I do like the sand, the way it feels, but I don't like the fact that it's lost so much water. that's quite interesting. Has a nice feel to it. Okay, the next one is the wool. Now, I'm already expecting to have issues with this. Because I don't think it's dense enough. Let's have a look. That went in. No. Now you can see already that those stems aren't holding firm. That one's okay. Now even the Sweet William was a bit difficult to get in. No, that stem's broken, but on the others it did go through. That definitely is not working. Look, that isn't even going through. Actually having to really gouge it in. Look at that. That's never going to work, is it? No. Tray's dry though. And finally, it's the one that's just the cocoa coir on its own. Have I been wasting my time with all the other bits and pieces? Okay, let's see. Nice. Ooh, is it going in well? This is really funny. Try all these clever things and just actually all I used to do was just choose the cocoa fibre. Oh look, even the ranunculus went in on its own. That will though. Oh, it did. Good heavens. Wow, wow, wow. It asked a bit much for the daffodils to be able to go in on their own. Well, that was quite a surprise actually. Right, I'm going to just leave those as they are. And then leave them overnight. Because if you remember, the Oshun Pouch isn't on the day, that thing, so the flowers aren't actually supposed to last in them for days on end. Obviously, if I found a solution that did work for longer, that would be perfect. But yeah, they all have the pros and cons for working with them. Very surprised about the cocoa coir on its own. Hated the wool, liked the sand, but it leaks, it's heavy. Liked the paper, and obviously I like the Oshun Pouch. So let's see what state they're in tomorrow. So this is day 2 of the experiment, and I want to go over each of the designs and see how it's holding up. Now first off is the Oshun Pouch, and we'd expect this to be good. The tray is a little bit damp. All the flowers look okay, except for the anemone. So let's see what the others are like. Second up is the paper, which I like. I like the paper. Again, everything is standing up except for the anemone. So maybe this isn't just a suitable thing for it. And I wanted to check what the join's like. That's dry. Now this is where I sealed it, and I was a bit concerned that it wasn't going to stay, but as you can see, it has. Look, it's held up. So I'm pleased with that. That looks good to me. We've then got the sand. Everything stood up to that even, the anemone. Maybe the others weren't put in far enough. But it's still really heavy. The tray is very damp, lost a bit of integrity because of that. But again, the seal has held. That's the bit I didn't cut off. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that whole sealing arrangement thing. Then we have the cocoa and the coir and the wool. Now, as you remember, I wasn't particularly happy about using this, and if you can see, lots of the flowers have like flopped over. They haven't really been held particularly well in place. The tray is dry and the seal is held. And finally, we have just the plain old cocoa coir on its own. And again, everything's held. It's nice and secure. Can't find the anemone in this one to see if it's flopped or not. But everything's upright. And let's have a look. Yeah, again, a dry tray, a sealed bag. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that, how the experiment went. In conclusion, I think I would probably use the paper mix and just the coir fibre on its own. I did like the sand, but the sand, yeah, because the sand still looks very upright, doesn't it? But it is very heavy, very, very heavy. But it might be able to use for something else, like a static display in a church or whatever, rather than funeral flowers. So that's interesting. I'm going to put some costings and comparisons on a slide after this. So I'd love you to have a go and see what you think. See if it's a viable way forward, because I actually think it is.